In this video, we have a $100,000 grant opportunity for Black-owned businesses for which you can apply in as little as 6 hours with an application deadline that lapses in less than 4 days. You better move on this right away. Watch this video to the end so you can see the exact responses that I submit into my application for this $100,000 grant opportunity for Black-owned businesses, the Shea Moisture Fund, the Next Black Millionaire Fund. Apply to grow your business to $1 million with Shea Moisture and New Voices. Now, the following is not financial advice. It is simply what I am doing. When I apply for any grant opportunity, I read all of the content on the landing pages, on the websites, on their digital assets, their Twitter profiles regarding the program. I also do this to get an understanding as to what is their mission, what are their objectives, to ensure that the program's mission, objectives, aspirations all align with my principles, with everything that I want to do with my small business, with my life. So go ahead and read the landing page. At the very least, all the way to the end, submit your application for a chance to grow your business, $100,000. We want to hear your recipe for business success. What's your secret ingredient? What legacy do you wish to pass down for those to come after you? So they want a recipe. They want your secret sauce. What separates you from the pack? What makes you unique in your marketplace? What niche are you carving out for yourself as a small business? How are you disrupting the landscape? Put that in your head before you start to draft these responses. Remember, draft your responses beforehand. I'm going to show you how shortly. So that's the button to click in order for you to apply now. We're not going to do that just as yet. You see the deadline is on December 19th, 2021. A new opportunity for Black-owned businesses, $100,000. Mentorship, okay. So they want to mentor the next millionaire Black-owned small business. Shea Moisture has been serving Black entrepreneurs and investing in the Black community for decades. To better serve you, we're constantly reimagining your recipe for success. Unjust barriers exist for Black entrepreneurs, including limited access to the considerable advantages that generational wealth and privilege provide. So, inheritance, you know, that a number of white people, they have more inheritances as Black people and other minority groups. A crucial part of our recipe for eradication of the $11 trillion wealth gap is supporting entrepreneurs like you. That last paragraph is very critical for you to get an understanding of. Why? Because it spells out their mission. So if you want to apply for this thing, if you want to have a chance to win this grant, your goals and aspirations should align with this organization's mission. I'm not telling you to change your mission if that's not what it is, but you stand a better chance if your goals go ahead and align with this mission, if the purpose of your business existence aligns with their purpose. Then you take a look at their digital assets. I took a look at their Twitter account right here. Cruelty-free hair, skin made with natural. And what I found here was that they actually have a mission statement in one of these tweets. We are excited to announce the launch of the Next Black Millionaire Fund. Submit your application for a chance to grow your business, win $100,000 innovation seed funding. We read about that. We're committing right here again at Shea Moisture. We're committed to doing our part to close the $11 trillion racial wealth gap by showing and growing a path forward for Black founded businesses that are rooted in community reinvestment. Share with us your recipe for generational wealth. Pass on that wealth. How do you hand that wealth down? How do you create that wealth? Which is why I say starting a small business is the best way for you to build your own asset. If you haven't inherited houses or whatever, any or other forms of generational wealth, you can go ahead and start the ultimate equalizer, which is starting a small business, become an entrepreneur. I've showed you numerous ways by visiting my spreadsheet at bit.ly/biz SS21. I give you numerous ways for you to educate yourself so you can develop the technical skills so you can provide value to clients and start your small business. Start your and register your LLC, apply for your employer identification number, etc., etc. Then you want to read more about that mission. Go ahead and dig deeper. At least that's what I do. Not financial advice, simply what I am doing. Right here, there's an article in the New York Times which reads, "The true cost of closing the racial wealth gap." And this is where they break it down. But depending on the measure you use, the chasm ranges from $54,700 a person to $280,300 a person. Now, a number of you are like, when are we going to get to the application? We got to do our research so we can incorporate this information with our responses. I believe the higher figure is the most appropriate one. That amounts to a total of $11.2 trillion, a figure that implies that incremental measures will not be sufficient to address the enormous racial wealth disparity. And this information comes from the Federal Reserve. And right here, look, they describe about all these things. Some families may have not yet received an inheritance, for example, if their parents are still alive. White families are both more likely to have received an inheritance and are also more likely to expect to receive an inheritance. About 17% of white families expect an inheritance compared to 6% of black families, 4% of Hispanic families, 15% of other families. For instance, I come from an Hispanic background, black Hispanic background, as you'll see in the video that I'm going to submit to my application. My mother was a first-generation immigrant. I'm a second-generation immigrant. She did not live in a house that she would inherit. I never lived with her in a house that I will inherit. So I've got to build my own assets. I do it by building this small business and by helping you do so, as you will see in the application process. Then, once we go ahead and get into the application, look what happens. They give us more information that we can go ahead and use and employ in our responses. Take a look. This application contains 25 questions and will take approximately 20 minutes to complete. To preview the full list of questions, click here. To view the rules, click here. And this will load these Google documents right here with all the rules, eligibility criteria, etc. Must be a registered business, must have been in business for a minimum of 2 years, must be at least 51% black owned, must have evidence of market validation and customer traction, must have at least $25,000 in annual revenue, must be based in the 50 states, and you see the rest of the eligibility criteria. Now, that'll give you an understanding whether you even qualify for this thing. These are critical right here. This document lists all the questions, which is what you want, so you can prepare the responses in advance. And I'm going to give you a link to the responses that I drafted in advance for these questions. All of this stuff, the basic biographical data, your name, your title, business owner, these are the questions that require more involved responses. So please provide your, social media. What makes you a brand? What makes your brand $1 million brand? And what is your brand's purpose and how do you bring it to life? In a short 90-second or less video, please briefly describe your business. Include info about you, your product's founding story, business mission, and what sets you apart. This video is required for casting. I guess they're going to televise whatever it is that they do after you win this thing, or whether you're a finalist. Please share a link to your video below, Google Drive, Dropbox, YouTube video. So I went ahead and created a 90-second video applying for this thing. Here it is. I am Neal Rodriguez, Managing Director of ShovCom LLC, a digital media company. I was born and raised in Jamaica, Queens, New York City. 50 Cent and Nicki Minaj's hood, where I fell in love with beef patties with cocoa bread. I am a black Hispanic. My grandmother was an African Colombian lady. Spaniards used to feed corn to black slaves in Colombia, and my grandmother used to serve me a glass of corn fermented water after school. I have sold $1 million internet marketing services, 25-cent video game lives, $7 haircuts, and other products. In 2003, I learned how to market websites, attending an NYU workshop. 7 years later, after driving millions of unique visitors to Adweek, Billboard, The Hollywood Reporter, and other publications, the Nielsen Company sold its magazines and laid me off within a week. Executives at those publications purchased my services, and ShovCom LLC was born. I have driven billions of unique visitors to the 2012 Obama presidential campaign, AOL, Forbes, the U.S. Department of Defense, and other brands' digital assets. In 2020, viewers saw me apply for government pandemic relief right on YouTube. In 2021, through my YouTube videos, I helped fund over $2.8 million in PPP loans for small businesses nationwide. We help U.S. small businesses secure millions of dollars in funding to the SBA EIDL program and other initiatives. I fulfill my company's mission to help close the $11 trillion wealth gap in underserved communities by giving entrepreneurs access to the financial tools they need to thrive. Bang. As per the instructions, I shared it in Google Drive. I uploaded it to Google Drive, and you can see a link to it right here. So you go ahead and click these 3 buttons and click share, and then right here, anyone on the internet with this link can view. And you can copy the link and I went ahead and pasted that link into my pre-written responses on this new spreadsheet. You know, I love spreadsheet entitled Grant Replies. And if you visit bit.ly/scrapnote, you go ahead and get this page right here. This is where I write scrap notes. This is where I write, or rather draft, the responses to the questions in applications for grant. As you saw in my previous video where I applied for that $5,000 SBA partnered grant. And I have more information. Look, the mission statement, tweet, past grant programs. I looked into their past grant programs. There's actually right here 2 pages where they have. So this is a past grant program in partnership with Good Mirrors. Aren't Cheap. Shea Moisture announced a $50,000 grant opportunity for Women's History Month. The Emerging Visionary Grant celebrates Black women. So you get a better idea as to their mission. What are their objectives? How can you help them fulfill those objectives? How can you make your application or the winning of that 100 grand a win-win situation for them where they're actually doing that, right? And at the very top of that, I'm showing you that. First off, I have a link to that spreadsheet at the very top if you want to go ahead and read it. Completely transparent. I'm in Speedos right now, okay? In partnership with Good Mirrors Aren't Cheap, Shea Moisture, okay? That's the grant opportunity of a past one. White families are both more likely to have received. So this is the information that I want to incorporate into my responses some way, somehow, perhaps indirectly or directly. My origin. My grandmother was an African-American, native South American Indian lady. This is her father, Jose Lalo Salas. My mother was born. You saw this stuff in the video. My mother was born in a neighborhood that did not even have a paved street. So you see the type of, quote, disadvantage from which I come. But I truly believe, as I've told you time and time again, that you can even the playing field by what? Starting a small business, educating yourself. Visit the free education tab, which is probably the most powerful tab on the spreadsheet that you can find, bit.ly/bizss21, and you equalize the whole game. You will not be in a disadvantage. God does not put us in a disadvantage on this planet or anywhere else in his universe. What makes your brand $1 million brand? Here are the responses. Just to organize the responses a bit better, I put them into the spreadsheet. Let's get to the application. Let's apply for this thing. So we click continue. Right here, applications are open between November 26th and December 19th. Those are the official rules. Continue. I accept. Black-owned business. Type your name. And this is the simple. I'll just go ahead and skim through the more simple responses, and we'll just go ahead and get into further discussion once we get into the more involved responses. Okay. Your title, managing director. Are you the business owner? Indeed I am. Email address. Business name, Shovcom LLC. Business website, nealrodriguez.com. How many years has your business been in operation? 10 years. 109. Please provide your business's social media platforms, including which platform you're referring to. Shea Moisture. Okay, youtube.com/Rod Squad. Boom. What is your total brand following across all platforms? I'll say 75,000. How would you categorize your business? Creative and marketing. What makes your brand a $1 billion brand? And then we refer to our pre-written responses. What makes your brand a $1 million brand? At 12 years old, I let kids play in my Nintendo Entertainment System for 1 quarter. At 16, I sold haircuts. After leaving the U.S. Navy, I sold Kirby vacuum stocks, Avon lipstick, nightclubs. You guys actually got to see this. Go ahead and just click the pause button on this video so you can go ahead or just go ahead and go to the bit.ly/scrapnote URL to go ahead and load up the page that links to this spreadsheet. Okay, boom, right here. How do we scroll down? Okay, we scroll down right here. Boom. Okay, what is your brand's purpose and how do you bring it to life? Our brand's purpose, and we have it right here. See, we have the responses right here. Look how quick this is. See how expeditious we get with it? Bang. It's like training for a fight. The hard part is the training. As long as you train hard, the easy part is the fight itself. In a short 90-second or less video, please briefly describe your business. Okay, so we go back to the spreadsheet. Remember that I created that link? And boom, it's right here. The link is right here. I just go ahead and ensure that it works. It's on and popping. Boom. What are your business strengths? Brand marketing, absolutely. Networking, engaging customers. Networking, absolutely. And marketing. Where's the other one? Select up to 3. Okay, that's 3. Okay. What are the main challenges your business is facing? Of course, branding, marketing, engaging, innovation. How would this grant help your business grow? Also, this is a response. This is a question to which I do not have a pre-written response, so we're going to have to get into it right now. We actually have, but remember, we responded to similar questions in the last application for that $5,000 SBA partnered grant. So let's take a look. So I'll go ahead and draft that real quick, man. And we'll go ahead and use this app right here called Grammarly. Remember I told you about Grammarly? This grant will help us grow and leverage to we equipped. We can give entrepreneurs more access to valuable financial tools, better microphones, rolling video switchers. We'll also use the funds to hire video editors. Okay, here we go. This grant will help us grow by funding our purchases of all the equipment we need to build our recording studio. We will purchase. Okay, so I drafted this real quick. This will add a little to the 6-hour allotment that I spoke about in the beginning of this video that you would need to apply for this thing. This grant will help us grow by funding our purchases of all the equipment we need to build our recording studio. We'll purchase 5 top-of-the-line cameras to keep small business owners engaged. The gear and expanded workforce will allow us to release more content more frequently, adequately equipped. We can give entrepreneurs more access to valuable financial tools to finance their businesses. We can also provide more access to free educational resources that entrepreneurs can leverage to develop technical marketing skills. We will also allocate a part of the budget towards marketing our videos more efficiently. Comprehensive community research will allow us to hone in on the best type of content that will keep our viewers engaged. Hiring marketing personnel. Hiring marketing personnel will help us expedite helping millions of people start and grow their businesses into generational wealth to provide a dignified and financially secure life for their families. Okay? And that is my goal. I want to help as many of you have more assets to hand down to your kids and your kids' kids. So, you got that response, hit a bit of a snag. We went ahead and drafted it real quick, putting that $100,000 NYU journalism education to use. What was your gross revenue for 2020? There it is. Anything else you would like to share? And we have a pre-written response to anything else we'd like to share. Boom, boom. Upload additional assets here. Optional. They can go ahead and watch the video, and I've given them all the assets that they require. Click the submit button. Thank you. Your application has been submitted to the Next Black Millionaire Fund. Watch this video right here so you can see me apply for that $5,000 SBA partnered grant with Hello Alice so you can get an even better idea as to how to apply for these grant programs.